which they're gonna be paved, yeah.
Well, sound, yeah.
Like,
We'll start, okay.
move that.
Okay, we have proposed order number 1. It's a bond ordinance dated today, June
You're on your own
5th,
file.
2024.
Sorry.
It's a bond ordinance authorizing the issuance of 22,750 serial bond of the city of Utica, Oneida County, New York, to finance the cost of reconstruction and improvement of the city sewer systems. That must be the maps they gave us.
Is Jack going to be here tonight, or do we not know?
He's not gonna be here.
Okay, all right, so then, this is actually going to be engineering. They're here to speak on behalf of the bond ordinance. So as long as everybody's here, I'd rather do it now than at the 7 o'clock meeting, so that we can kind of get a little understanding of what they want to do and go forward from there.
Great.
Okay.
I brought in Paul Romano, our PE. He made this plan, and he's best to speak about it at this moment.
Yes. So-
Paul Romano?
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. I know there's some new members that maybe have not met me before. So it's Paul Romano. I'm a senior professional engineer at Rambo right in Utica over at Bank Square. I've been working on the Utica combined sewer overflow control program since 2008 with Debbie Day. Started back then. We've been doing a number of projects to, in order to comply with EPA regulations and DEC regulations on controlling combined sewer overflow. So just a quick overview with combined sewer. So the city has probably 70% of the sewer system in the city collects sanitary waste, your sewage, but also collects stormwater. So, and what happens is that combined waste cannot come, and during wet weather, cannot make its, all of it cannot get to the treatment plant. So what happens is there's overflow areas where the combined sewers, stormwater and sanitary waste, your sewers, go and release into either Blue Creek, Nail Creek, or the Mohawk River. And there has to be a certain amount of that volume that gets reduced to meet EPA and DEC standards. So what we did back in 2011 was we built a document, and it listed probably 15, 16 projects that the city would need to undertake to reduce the combined sewer overflow volume. And we, every couple of years I appear in front of you and we have another project or two that is ready to move along. Lots of times, the regulatory agency works with us, so we try to find the best timing to do these projects where we can maximize the grant amount. And that's what's happening, which is happening here. What you have in front of you, it sounds like it is a very big bond resolution, 22.750 bond resolution. But because the federal infrastructure law, the bill law, bipartisan infrastructure law, the bill law, the city is able to get 50% grant, which is really kind of unheard of. 50% grant on a almost $23 million program we're going to do. And that's a large amount that probably come next year or the year after, it's going to no longer be available to the city. So it's timing. We brought, what you have in front of you on the maps are the two areas that we're going to do sewer separation. So what we do is in those areas, we separate the sewers, so they were combined, so they separate into a sanitary line and a stormwater line. And in those two areas now, the stormwater will make its clean stormwater cleaner than sanitary sewers will make its way to the creeks in the river, and then the sanitary can flow with better capacity now right to the treatment plant. So the first area is the Lincoln Ave area. That's been an area where we've had a lot of troubles, with even flooding over there because of combined sewer overflow. So that's a large area that we're going to be doing the separation in. And the other area is a couple areas in East Utica, which you see on the map. Poe Street, Lansing, Blandina, Mary Streets between Ontario and Culver, and then Bleecker Street between Turner and Florence Street. So some spot areas in East Utica that are important to separate.
These are some of the oldest areas.
Yeah, all these are very old areas.
When,
yeah, yeah.
when back in the day, they built these systems, this is the way they built them. Everything was combined. The EPA, the DEC, they now want to separate everything. So this is
Yep.
this is a necessity, a more than a want.
And what happens is the DEC has got us on a Mohawk River monitoring, water quality monitoring, actually, and Blue Creek and Nail too. And we have to monitor fecal coliform. We have to meet water quality standards in those water bodies. If we don't meet those water quality standards by doing these separation projects, we're gonna, it's gonna be a continuation of more work. So it's really, you know, it's important that we get the grant amount, get the grant work when we can, get the grant amounts. The other portion of this, so 50% grant, the other portion is because we work, this bond goes through EFC. And what the EFC does is control the interest rates. So basically, the short-term interest rate on the remaining $11 million is 0. Short-term interest rate is 0%. And the long-term interest rate, when this goes long-term, is negligible. It's under 1, it's 0.3, 0.5. It's a negligible long-term interest rate. And so, you know, again, and Utica gets that because of its financial, its hardship status, and that's why it gets the reduced interest rates. So what we've done before we've taken this to you, we've also done a sewer fund analysis so that we understand after we do this work, when the debt service hits, we make sure that the sewer fund has a bit of available dollars. And so this past, a few months ago, there was a resolution in front of you. You did a 6% increase to the sewer fund. There'll be some smaller increases in the next couple of years, but we've accounted for this project in the sewer fund so that, you know, it's all the debt service will be covered inside the sewer fund.
Can I ask a question, Paul?
Yeah.
So, for example, on the Culver Ave area, if you're going obviously west of
Yeah.
Culver Ave on
Yeah.
Mary, Blandina, Lansing, those areas,
Yeah.
have you guys already started to map out where they want to go and how they
Yeah.
want to? Because I contacted the chief because I saw
Yeah.
the flags there, and I'm like, I didn't know if it was a fire department, I didn't know who it was,
Oh, we
or if
have-
it's National Grid, the water authority. So that's another thing I was kind of confused
I don't
about.
think we've done any those types of utility layouts. We do know where those utilities are, but
Okay.
that's probably not us that's done that yet.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's why I was just curious to know
Well-
if that was
well,
something
we-
that you already got a jump start on.
Yeah, we have taken the design to schematic level because we had to get seeker approval. And we did seeker approval through the planning board. The planning board just did the seeker approval a couple weeks ago. So we had to bring the design to a certain level so that, you know, they could make a decision on seeker.
So, say for example, those people that live on the street, what is the expectation of what they should see in the
Well-
process of what you plan on doing?
Yeah, well, you know, the road is, you're gonna basically, you know, trench and there'll be a stormwater line added to the, side by side with the sanitary line. So those roads will, you know, those will be opened up and you know, but the good thing is they will be reconstructed, so you'll have a new.
Perfect. I didn't have to implement the paving program for my street
Well,
to get done.
That's the nice thing. Normally, EFC will pay for the road reconstruction, and usually we've made the case each time not to just do the trenching, but to do curb to curb. So every single project we've had, they've allowed curb to curb. You know, something we
We
have
don't
to
have
ask for.
curbs, but
but
yeah.
And
No, I
it's-
get that.
We've built it into the price.
Okay, cool. The other thing is, can you kind of touch on the fact of where you are as far as not getting mandated to do the sewer work and so on and so forth? Because I know that this is, you know,
Yeah.
we've been a step ahead of the mandates
Right.
for the city, and just kind of explain where we are next after this is expended and where we need to go from there.
Yeah, so, you know, because of Debbie Day and the engineering department and, you know, now Nick, you know, taking over and supporting the program, we've been able to keep the city out of the consent order, which was the goal. Because once you're in a consent order, it gets, you know, it's very difficult. But all these projects have been put inside the permit, and now, the city's CSO permit, and now we're really the next test is really the water quality sampling, but we've been able to avoid enforcement action. So there's been the city has never got the DEC penalty, because of the approach the city has taken and moving along without having to be pushed along.
Sure, and obviously, do we test the water before and then after again?
We have a baseline testing, and now, we went out last year, did a round of water quality testing, and now we're back out this summer doing more water.
So let me ask you a question. If the baseline quality is okay, right, it tests to where it's supposed to be, where does this get us next when you separate the sewer systems to above the baselines,
Well, the
maintaining the
baseline,
baseline?
so the
And
baseline is what the water quality, sampling was before any projects were done. So it's not pretty. Now we've done a number of projects, and that water quality sampling data has gotten better. We're still not all the way there. So it's about doing enough projects to meet the water quality objectives, and all these projects are inside the city's long-term control plan. There's nothing new, it's always been listed. We're not making up projects. These projects have been in the book since 2011.
Right, oh,
We're just
yeah.
progressing them through. In fact, when we get this done, I think there's only 2 or 3 projects left.
and those in the same size areas, smaller, bigger?
Smaller.
Smaller,
This
yeah,
is a
just,
pretty-
so then
we're
once we do those 3 projects, we'll be up to date on where we need to be
Yeah.
regulated?
Yeah, this is probably the biggest chunk, that we have to take care of left.
And we've got to finish.
It's the oldest chunk.
Yeah, it's pretty old areas.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely, I agree, and I mean, obviously, I appreciate the work of getting ahead of it, and, I support the bond ordinance because it needs to be done.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't want your sanitary lines again running with your water lines and so on
Right.
and so forth, and
Yeah.
I think that,
Yeah.
as much as we talk about the things that the city hasn't done right, this is probably one of the things that I can agree with wholeheartedly over the past 10 years, 12 years, that we've actually done.
Exactly. I think the city was
done
probably, when we
correctly.
started, maybe 40% separated, and like I said, we're pushing the 70% separated mark, which
And
is-
the last question I have, and just for me, is Debbie Day still involved?
She's still,
All right, so
We have
Debbie,
calls with her.
if you hear this, thank you, Debbie, because I know that she's been through it all, and
She-
she's helped us out a lot, and if we didn't have her, we probably wouldn't be to where
yeah,
we're at now,
She said
so.
she won't fully retire until she sees the program finished, so.
So she's about 10 years past retirement, right, Deb? All right, thank you, I appreciate that, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else?
Yeah, well, just one question. What's the ETA to have all this done?
So we will be in full design the rest of this year, and we'll go out in the spring. It should be all done in the next year's construction season. So from early spring into the end of into November. Possibility that it could go into the following spring, in the early spring the following year, but the idea is to try to get all the work done in next year's construction season.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Thanks for coming in.
Yep, absolutely.
We spoke a bit about timeline. How about for the receipt of the grant funds? Do we have an anticipated timeline for receipt of the federal funds, a year or
So-
5 years?
Back in January, the city already got the state's obligation letter on the grants funds so they're not in jeopardy at all. I mean, they're for sure. So now it's about, the timing's important tonight because, it's a bond resolution, so it's 2/3. But after we get that, so hopefully we get that, then we have to put a financial application in that's due June 14th. So that's if for some reason we missed that June 14th date, it puts the $11 million of grant funds in jeopardy, for sure. Yeah.
And do you foresee any potential of additional grants becoming
Absolutely.
available?
So
Okay.
I don't want to overpromise, but from this point forward, we're going into consolidated funding application grant period. There's some other programs where we can add to the 11 million. It's not a promise, but we will definitely put in grant applications for more money so that we maybe push the 50% to 60% or whatever,
Okay, so at this
Yeah.
point, there's the guarantee of 50%, but
Yes.
like you said, there's a potential to
Guaranteed for
increase
50%
incentives.
and the low interest borrowing, yeah. And what we do, when EFC is controlling the borrowing, what happens too is the city doesn't have to do any bond anticipation notes or anything. EFC, the contractor bills the city, we send the contractor bill to the state, The state pays the city, and the city pays the contractor. So there's no upfront financing that needs to be done when you do these projects because they're working under the state.
Okay. And just
Yeah.
a question regarding the debt services, just so I understand. I think you mentioned the debt services is covered through the sewer fund?
Yes.
Okay. In section 7, it makes reference to principal and interest paid by general tax upon the real property in the city. I don't know if that's just standard language in an agreement like this, but it's coming out of
language
the,
that
okay.
Paul Reichel puts in as the bond counsel, but again, it is sewer, it's absolutely the sewer.
Is that something you'd recommend amending in this to read?
I wouldn't touch any language in
This is the
there.
same.
We've done bond ordinances for years, especially when, and Paul, I'm sorry, go ahead, finish.
Yeah, no, Paul Reichel has done these for years.
We've done them, and I mean, it's just something that's in there, that's just language that needs to be in there in order to protect ourselves. Say there were, a bond that needed to be issued, that unexpected cost that we didn't know, that would kind of fall under those lines. So, I mean, I don't,
This is the
it could be a possibility.
Yeah, this is the language EFC is, it's been approved every time, and we're probably on, 7 to 10 of these.
Okay.
Because they also receive our language and have to approve it, so this is kind of the standardized way to, in order for them to approve it, to get back to us, that's the language that they're comfortable with.
Very good. All right, yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
The only thing that I would say is maybe just stay through the 7 o'clock hour in case anybody has
You
any
want me to stay?
questions after that. then
Okay.
I would say do 2 or 3.
Okay, so stay at 7, come back at 7.
Yeah,
I'll just
they have to
stay.
stay till 7.
Just stay.
Okay.
Why you got anywhere to go?
No, it's okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome, yeah. You just
I'm too moved to speak on this.
The next thing on the agenda is a proposed resolution from the announcement of common council meetings, date changes and observance with Juneth.
June, yep,
So we're closed on Juneteenth.
for the
So we
holiday.
just gotta pick a different day for the council meeting.
So the only thing that I would suggest is either doing it the day before or the day after, so that we're not too far off the schedule. Because once you get into the end of June, if you make it a week later, then we have our next meeting in July. I mean, those are the only things that I would suggest. My suggestion would be just to make it the next day at the same time, same place.
Wait, I think
I
we
could
also
do
might have to
Tuesday.
figure something out, because I think we have 2 public hearings already.
We do, so Brian, Kathy talked to you about that?
Yes.
So what day works with the 17th
It's
work?
it's
Have
any
you
date,
talked to
it's,
her about it,
yeah, it's
or-
any
I
date
believe
that
it
we
was the
pick.
17th that she had discussed with you, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's it,
Monday,
Monday?
Not Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, does
hang
that
on,
work for everyone?
hang on.
Well, I guess my question's more toward, I think last council meeting, we passed 2 resolutions.
So we're gonna have to repass.
Okay, that was my, okay,
tonight
very good.
With the new date.
Okay.
I would be okay with the 17th.
And that's Monday night?
That's a
Yeah.
Monday night.
I would okay, yeah.
Make it happen.
That would be the same time, same place, just instead of Wednesday, Monday.
Monday night it is.
Aye, aye.
And then Brian, you'll work that out with Kathy and all that?
Yeah.
Okay, and whatever we need for the meeting tonight, can that be changed to make it to the 17th? To be amended on the floor? Or do we have to submit a new piece?
I think we have to call for, yeah, we did new pieces.
You did new pieces? Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Because
But
we
this,
called for the public hearing.
would that give us enough time to the 17th, if we need to? Okay,
Yeah.
all right, perfect.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Very good.
Yep.
Any other questions? The next piece is the proposed resolution number 3, sponsored by Councilman Williamson.
Yep.
Proclamation recognizing John Frazier.
I'd like to make this full council. I'll present it on the 15th. No, I'm gonna present it on the 15th,
Oh, the 15th.
on Saturday. Yeah, I'll present it. So, I'd like to make the full council.
Thank you.
Any objections? Very good. Thank you. The next proposed resolution, number 4, is the announcement of dates for July and August common council meetings. Do we have a preference?
I think we should can we wait till the 17th meeting to make the announcements, or does it have to be done now?
Put in committee.
Yeah, keep it in
Yeah,
committee,
keep it-
Mark, or Bob, and then on the 17th, we can make the decision on when meetings are, depending on what legislation that we have and stuff like that that comes in.
And you have time.
Because you don't wanna go,
It's also
yeah, you don't wanna go
nice
3
plan for
weeks,
the
4
summer.
weeks if there's some
No, that's right.
piece that's of importance and stuff like
We
that,
wait
so.
till the 17th and we can decide.
There you go.
then.
Okay, thank you.
Very
Yep.
good. So we'll place this in committee. Any other questions?
Nope.
Thank you. Next proposed resolution is authorization of sale of beer and wine to Mary Mother of Our Savior Parish. Sponsor is Mary Mother of Savior Parish Annual Bazaar, Thursday, August 29th, 2024, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Friday, August 30th, 2024, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday, August 31st, 2024, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. The location is Mary Mother of Our Savior, 2 Barton Ave, Utica, New York. Any questions?
Nope.
No questions? Very good. Thank you. Next proposed resolution is number 6, proclamation recognizing the Notre Dame varsity basketball team. Congressmember Beatrice, would you like to speak on this?
Yes, the girls will not be able to, their schedules between basketball camps and college visits, and they will never be able to attend our meetings, so I just want to recognize them tonight. I'm going to have the proclamations for them they'll individually get one, and then I'm going to, in the process of working with the administration, to get a plaque out in the foyer of City Hall the way we have for the other teams that are state champions. So we do have to waive the Thursday rule on this because we just got it yesterday. So that's it. Thank you.
Would you like a full council?
Yes, yes. I just assumed it was going to be.
Very good. Any other questions? Thank you. The next piece I have is the resolution number 7. Resolution approving the granting of a permanent easement to National Mohawk and Verizon at Utica Zoo. Is that the one we did a couple of years ago? Or is this
No, we
something-
did one for the.
That was for the golf
not
course.
A couple weeks ago. It's in connection with it?
No, this is for the disconnect from like the Ridgewood, South Utica area.
Right, so that the cell
So
towers and cell.
Cell towers work with each
Okay.
other, so
All right.
you call 911
Corona
in
Street.
South Utica, you get nothing.
And they-
So
they-
this is to bridge the gap.
And they actually just saw it with the fire, so a lot of them can't use their cell phones, they have to use their business
Yeah.
line. What ended up happening was when the business caught on fire, a lot of them couldn't use their cell service to make it a direct connection. This is something that's been in the works, I think Senator Schumer
For a
was here
while.
not too long ago, and so on and so forth. The only thing that I would say is just disregard the actual memo, it says the grant of the easement to Niagara Mohawk for the ice rink. I
Oh.
think that might just be just a little confusing component of it, that it should just be the
Yeah.
the Utica Zoo way, right, Seth?
It's a-
Yes.
it's a way, yeah.
Okay. Other than that, I mean, this is, I think, extremely important to
Well, it's
everybody,
no-brainer.
not just South
And we're
Uticans.
hoping to
No
fly a
brainer.
balloon soon, so we can start getting this process in motion.
Okay, and how soon would they go into effect?
I'm working with scheduling right now.
Good. Good. Any other questions? Thank you.
Let's go with a pine tree. Let's go with like a tree.
Number 8 is,
So the only thing that I'm gonna ask about this, and I don't have a problem supporting if you have to, but you can't just have be it ordained ordinance number 18 of 2024. It's actually gotta have the specific language of what that ordinance actually was, so that we can reference that. So if you can, just make that amendment. And then I'm assuming the next component is similar to that one, is that correct?
Yeah, they're the same
1600
thing,
block of Mary
just
Street?
reversing it back to what it
Yeah,
was.
so if you can, and this is just kind of technical for us, is that if you do rescind the original rescind piece on number 8, so you rescind the one that you already have, put that language in there of what you're rescinding, and then you could put be it ordained that you're adding that component to it, which is that 1600 block of Mary Street from Mohawk to 3rd Ave.
Okay,
Is that okay?
yeah.
Okay.
Deputy Chief, you good with that?
Yes. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So those would have to just come as two new, well, the one, number 8 would have to come as either a new piece or you can amend it on the floor, but since
Yeah.
it hasn't been introduced, just make it as
That makes sense.
a new piece. And then this one, just instead of, just have it say that section 2-16-3 says 377 Schedule V, not be amended.
Okay.
Or actually,
Well, we were saying.
just be added to it, because you're rescinding the original one, so you're not amending that component. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Amended to be added.
Any other questions about this?
Nope.
And then we were handed this other one, but it's in committee. I see that they made some changes.
Yes, I can talk briefly on that. I know this was submitted well before budget season, and obviously there was other things that came up. But I got around to making a couple of the changes that I think the council was indicating that they wanted, as well as speaking with the administration and the mayor's office, figuring out what they wanted. So the two big changes, just so it's clear, we cleaned up the legislative intent, and then there was a number of concerns about whether or not we would allow it on outdoor patios and restaurants, and whether or not that included private outdoor patios and restaurants. So that was changed to sidewalk cafes, which are on city-owned property, instead of the outdoor patios and restaurants, which was really the intent all along. So we just cleaned that up a bit. So if the council wants to vote on that tonight, they can. Otherwise, you can leave it in committee and we can discuss it further. But those are the updates, so you have that so you can see it.
I actually maybe have one quick suggestion that I might have, is obviously a public meeting on this, a committee meeting at 5 o'clock on the 17th, just to kind of discuss, you know, what the intent was, and have somebody come down and explain it to us, what this piece actually does and says, and I have no problem with that. I'm not comfortable voting on it tonight. The other thing is, and Paul, I know you're here tonight and you're not able to discuss it, but maybe just an update on Harbor Point at one of our next meetings, just to kind of see where we are. I mean, the inside of the harbor looks absolutely beautiful, so kind of just get an update where we are and what maybe we need to do as a legislative body, if we have to, you know, enclose anything, or, you know, make it so that the public can actually get there and see the work that you guys have done, I think would kind of be helpful.
Yeah.
So maybe at the next Monday meeting at 5 o'clock, we can kind of have a combined committee meeting, and Paul, if you're available, to come
Yeah.
back on the 17th.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be helpful, because I think we kind of need to just get an update on where we are with the harbor.
Yeah.
Is that
That'd be
okay?
great.
But I think Jack or whoever, I mean, I can call it if everyone's okay with 5 o'clock on the
17.
17th.
17th, any objections, any problems or concerns?
Go over cannabis in the harbor.
So we'll talk about those two issues on that Friday?
Yeah.
Or Monday, I'm sorry. No,
Sound good?
all good.
Okay, perfect. And you're okay to be there?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I will, you know, I'll mention it to LDC.
Yeah, and if the
Brian.
LDC can give us an update, just, I
Yeah.
mean, any new
Yeah.
plans that they have, and just kind of where they're
They
at.
might want to, you know, a couple of people might want to present different aspects, you know, and I certainly present on. Yeah, well, I certainly want to present on, the construction contract on the promenade and everything, yeah, so I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, cool.
I think more so switching it over to us with the keys.
Yeah.
Well, that's, I think, the biggest concern.
Yeah,
So
that's
we
right.
kind of
That's
say
definitely-
anything until we get there.
Yeah. So the legal stuff, yeah, on that, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
You wanna go fishing there?
Any,
I'm gonna put Joe on the bottom of it, then we can go fish for
Not after hearing about the whole combined sewer thing.
any other questions?
Thanks, Brian.
Is there anything in committee we need to discuss?
I didn't think so.
I
There's,
didn't think so either.
There's nothing in committee, although I know that there's been a number of questions about the sale of the URA property for MMRI. We're working on finalizing that. We had a telephone call today with their team to see if we can resolve it. So we're hoping in the next few weeks to resolve it and get a contract. We're going to be doing something slightly different, so you're going to see a new piece of legislation. But until that time, you can leave it in committee, and then I'll have you discharge it.
Very good, thank you. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, thank you.
To order. Guys, we're going to start the meeting. The city clerk will call the roll.
Aiello, Burmaster, Bitar, Carcone, Irvin, Beatrice, Williamson, Colosimo, Testa, Druzzi, present.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for the deceased members of the Common Council, and a special moment of silence for Chief Russell Brooks, who passed away earlier this week. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Does this chair hear a motion and a second to dispense with the reading of minutes from the previous meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
No public hearing, public comment period. Common Council will allow you 3 minutes per speaker. First one, Christine Barbu. Barbo? Yes. Christine, the Common Council has provided you a copy of Section 3244 Public Comment Period. Are you in agreement with the rule?
I am.
Please state your name.
Christine Barbeau.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm here to promote a listing that I have on Kasuth Avenue. I'm the listing broker for 1122 Kasuth Avenue. It can be used as office, group home, family daycare, retail. They're asking $1.4 million for it. It's currently housing Golden Lotus Food Supply. So it comes with the business. So it's the building and the business and everything that comes with it. The building is 13,000 square feet. And on the first floor, it's the grocery business with the takeout. And then the second floor is the primary residence of the owner. He recently redeveloped that in 2021 when he bought it. And then the third and the fourth floor are vacant, ready for redevelopment. So if anybody has anybody that would be interested, please reach out. Financials can be provided upon request. So thank you.
Thank you.
Can you just state your name, your telephone number, and how people can contact you?
Yes, my name is Christine Barbeau, and my phone number is 315-573-5385. And I'm with Realty One Group. Thank you.
John Nicotera. John, the Common Council has provided you a copy of Section 3244 Public Comment Period. Are you in agreement?
Yes.
Please state your name.
John Nicotera.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm here. I live on 149 Eastwood Avenue, across from the very controversial triangle that was installed. And I'm here to speak in favor of it because 4 years ago it was my idea. In March of 2021, I emailed Celeste Friend about the intersection being very unsafe and being a very displeasing looking intersection. It was all eroded asphalt. Actually, still have the email that I sent with her with a picture that I took of it. And I asked her if we could add something in the middle of the intersection because it's a very large space of asphalt. In my neighborhood, we get a lot of flooding. And to me, it was very ugly. It added no value to my home, and it was very unsafe. People come off of Eastwood Ave, turning around, U-turns, anything, turning direction, any direction they wanted, to turn around because it was so large. And right now, I see the meetings online that people didn't know about it, and it's 4 years later, The triangle was painted for 2 years. Of August 2022, I believe it was painted, and then it was installed, and now it's a big thing. I have a 20-month-old at home, and I just feel like the constituent that's just not heard. I feel like I asked for something, it was given, now it's being taken away because somebody can't park in front of their house. Well, my daughter can't be in my front yard safe because of the nuisance of traffic that cuts through on Eastwood Ave from Oneida Street to Genesee Street. They don't do 15 miles an hour. I got a 15-mile-an-hour sign installed on the light pole in front of my house because last year I was very upset at the erratic traffic that comes through, and the city wouldn't put up a sign that said it was a school zone. I called the police department to have it patrolled because they don't stop at the stop sign in front of Jones School. They fly through it every morning. I walk my dogs, and I just witness it and watch it. And I think the police department has many things going on. I've seen them there a couple times, and I know because my friend was patrolling there one day, they wrote a good amount of tickets. But I did some research, and I went and I measured it. It's 9 feet wider than the traffic triangle on Crestway Avenue across from the mayor's office. That is 19 feet wide. This one measured it was between 27 and 28 feet wide. I then took a trip down to Talcott Ave. It's the same exact measurements. I don't understand how those people can park in the road on one side of the road, but at Eastwood Ave we can't. It's not big enough. I don't understand how it's not up to code when the codes department and everybody put it in. I look at it as a safety. I don't understand my opinion out of it. I remember how traffic was. I've lived there for 8 years now. I remember what traffic looked like. My biggest thing, as much as I would like to see plants put in there and some trees and some shrubs, Christmas lights in the winter, we wanted to invest in the
John, you're
neighborhood.
gonna have to finish up.
I'm sorry.
No.
Invest in the neighborhood. I saw that. If it's being taken out, is there any way to make that intersection safer with more stop signs or crosswalks or something so traffic will actually stop when they're coming through our little neighborhood, Mr. President, instead of just seeing another asphalt parking lot put out front? Thank you.
Thank you, John. Dominic Velarde.
Just can't let it go.
Dominic, Common Council has provided you a copy of Section 3244 Public Comment Period. Are you in agreement?
Yeah, and I didn't receive it, but yes.
Please state your name.
My name is Dominic Velarde. I live on Herkimer Road in Utica. I'm one of the founders and the publisher of Greater Utica's Magazine, if you've heard of it. I've been studying the city's history for over 10 years. I live on Herkimer Road, and I'm a little nervous. I live on Herkimer Road, and I'm kind of upset because I'm always being told what to do with my home. I live in what they call a historic and scenic area, and there's two homes, there's two places, the First Baptist Church and General Weaver's home, that are historical landmarks. And because of those two properties, the whole section of Herkimer Road, from Van Rensselaer to the county line, is considered historic scenic. And because of that purpose, I have to go in front of the historic board every time I even want to paint the front door of my house. I purchased my house, it was wrecked, it was rotted, I rehabilitated it. Sorry. I put over $200,000 of my home. I'm Italian, I'm emotional. I put $200,000 into my home. Nobody came to my house when it was rotting. The committee didn't show. I didn't see them. Nobody came to my house when I had old windows. My gas and electric bill was $750 a month. And then I changed my windows. My cost went down to $250. Nobody came to my home. My garage is tilted, rotted, falling apart. They won't even let me take it down. it's disgusting. It's an eyesore like the rest of my house was. I finally got the money so that I could build the garage I want, and I need their permission to do it. I can't deal with that. I can't live with that. Not because of these two homes. One of them is rotting away. General Weaver's house is a rotten mess. A bear could crawl through his roof where it's all rotted. And for these two historic places, all of Herkimer Road has to suffer, and we all have to meet guidelines. Ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't see why they should tell us how to spend our hard-earned money to decide on the way that our houses are supposed to look, to their preferences, not mine, not my house. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that I'm crying over this because, I don't know. I just don't think it's fair. I wouldn't have came here. I'm not good at this, talking in front of people. This is my son's job, not mine. I'm the guy at Microsoft nobody knows about. He's the face of our business, and you know, I don't know where else to go with this. But I prepared a whole thing written out and everything, and the Common Council is the one, and during Julian's administration, that made this historic preservation. So I know that today's Common Council can change this, so that people who work hard every days of their life, they don't have to worry about who's going to tell them what to do, who's going to tell them what color they can paint their garage, what color they can paint their house. It's ridiculous. We have people that can't even probably afford to paint their house, and we're worried about them telling us how we can paint it. It just doesn't make sense. And I mean, I can ramble on about this forever, as my family can tell you, because I've been doing this now for about the last 3 weeks.
Finish up, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. There is no Common Council guest speaker, communications from the mayor. We'll go around. Report of city officers, Lieutenant Broke.
Nothing to report.
Stephanie DeGiorgio, Corporation Council.
Nothing to report.
Brian Thomas, Urban Renewal.
Nothing to report.
Fire Chief Angersall.
I'd just like to take a moment and recognize past Fire Chief Russ Brooks, passed away a couple days ago. Chief Brooks, obviously we all know that he dedicated his life to the city of Utica and to the Utica Fire Department. And I'm honored to have served with Chief Brooks, and he's going to be sorely missed. He was a great part of our fire department's history, and we hope to continue to live up to what the high standards that he set.
Well said. City Engineer Nick Breidenberger.
I'd like to do a public update. Paving is going to start after the holiday of July 4th, a week after July 4th holiday. Let's clarify. You should be expecting door hangers on your doors of the schedule. They're in the hands of your council members, if you want a preview of them. And we'll see you the week after July 4th.
Thank you, Nick. Deputy Commissioner of Parks, Mark Sokolowski.
The only thing I got to say is I thought Samantha was the best golfer in this crew. But after 2 weeks ago when I saw Councilman Bitar, she's got work to do.
Yeah.
So I got to say.
The women's team, don't forget.
So I got to say.
Commissioner of Codes, Marcus Phillips.
I want to echo what Chief Ingersoll said about Chief Brooks. He was a personal friend of mine, a mentor. He's done more for me personally than less than a handful of people, and he'll be missed as a colleague, as a mentor, as a community staple. He also is by far the best fire chief I ever worked with. Wow. Yeah, you know, proud guy, and it just sucks getting older and watching people pass away. From a code standpoint, I do want to say greenway should be in barrels now. We're getting pushback from a lot of people that we're citing greenways at the road, and that's the law. So we have to enforce the law. And me and Mr. Velarde have spoken, and he's come into codes about his garage, and I just wanted to say thank you for coming in to speak, and it's not personal. I mean, it's the law. So I have compassion for his case too. So I wanted to say that too. We're finally cleaning up a couple things on Berry Street that we've gotten a lot of complaints about. So I think that the public will see good results on some of the problem properties of Berry Street in the next 2 weeks or so. So fingers crossed.
Thank you. Chief Gentile?
I will continue to echo sympathy for the passing of Chief Brooks. As a North Utica kid, I got to know him as somebody other than Chief Brooks, as Mr. Brooks, in a lot of different capacities. And, you know, outside of the firehouse, he was involved in a lot of things that were meaningful in the community as well. So very important and hard to see him go. Today, the police department released a procedural thing for our new contract with Wanderers Rest for as our dog shelter. So that will be where you will continue to see information regarding the implementation. It's, you know, we're excited to have this new partnership. They've been, you know, excellent. Even before a contract was even signed, they really came to us and were willing to help. So it's been important and meaningful, and we're going to continue to work through that new contract, new relationship, and serve the people of Utica and our dogs and animals the best way we can. And I mean, huge shout out to where the police department and our animal control has stepped up in a lot of ways to get us through that and get us to the point where we're ready to take the next steps forward. So big deal and a good thing. And then a lot of community events, summer's happening, and so just excited to enjoy our parks, enjoy our public spaces, and have meaningful fellowship in our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Judge Grimo?
Yes.
As you know, before each meeting, I usually meet with Charlie Brown or Mr. Giorgio. Charlie Brown called me today and he wanted me to remind the common council that one of the few times when contracting is in the council's hands almost exclusively is with our cable service. And for most of you, that's a new revelation because that doesn't occur except every 10 years. There are many procedures that have to be done before that is finalized, and Mr. Brown told me today it has to be finalized by November. We have not received, at least I hadn't, I know about this, I go back to when we did the Heron Caribou, that tells how long I've been here. But in any event, we're going to get the information. Mr. Giorgio is going to assist us in that, and we'll tell you about what you have to do as a public body before there's a finalization of the Spectrum contract. So I promised Mr. Brown that I would mention that to you tonight, so it'll be something that'll be coming in the future, and when I know more about it, you'll know more about it from me and Mr. Giorgio and Mr. Brown. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Stephanie, maybe you can clarify, what is that in regards to?
It's the, I don't remember best to put it. It's for designating, almost like designating the official newspaper. It's like designating our official
Spectrum?
cable. Yeah,
Cable carrier.
yeah.
Who is our current?
Spectrum.
And it's just renewing the contract with them, or is that?
Well, it could be renewing the contract. It could be choosing a different provider.
Right now, it's just potentially just a renewal.
Was that something that we went through? Judge, maybe you can clarify this, and obviously it's not going to make a difference right now. Was that something that we did when we negotiated through the designated channel from the school district and the city with Channel 3, or is this something totally different? I guess I'm just kind of wondering what we've got to look out for.
Best way I can explain it to you, every 10 years you're going to, if you're a member of the Common Council, you're going to be faced with whether you want to continue Spectrum as the cable company that services the Utica area. There's a contract involved, and it's a 10-year contract. there are public hearings and other things that have to be held. And as I said to you, it's the common council's duty, not the executive's duty. And Mr. Brown reminded me of that today. And I, again, will provide you with all the information. And we'll look at the old records and probably follow the same procedure.
Sure, does an RFP go out for that, or what is the process for that? Is it just somebody comes in and says, hey, I want to renew our contract, or is it a blanket component, nobody's there until we?
It's a contract.
I get it's a contract, Judge,
If I'm being honest, I just learned about this today, so.
It would be an
I-
RFP.
It would have to be an RFP, so at least we would get, you know, who our competitors would be through Spectrum. That's all I needed to clarify. Appreciate that, thank you.
Miscellaneous communication, cash report.
The City of Utica cash report for April 2024 totals $38.960 million received and filed.
Petitions, remonstrances, and appeals. First Ward, Councilwoman Katie Ayala.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a lot of great events this past weekend. Happy 150th anniversary to the Utica Fire Department. And of course, June's here, so that means Pride Month is upon us, so happy Pride. And congratulations to Oneida Pride Association on a successful festival this past weekend. And it was nice to see the City Hall lit up. And just, yeah, everybody have a good summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Council member, Second Ward, Bob Burmaster.
Thank you, Mr. President. I really don't have too much to say. Sorry for the passing. My condolences with the family. Known the family a few years. Played ball with Rod at the Addison. Remember his brother, a little bit older than I am. He was a fixture in West Utica growing up. I really don't have too much else to pass. We have a meeting next Wednesday, 6 o'clock, 5 points. Have a cup of coffee with me and enjoy your summer.
Thank you. Council member Joe Vitar.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing tonight, just my usual reminder, the next South Utica Neighborhood Association meeting is going to be June 10th, 6 p.m. So this coming Monday, just a reminder for everyone, the next SUNA meeting, June 10th, 6 p.m. Thanks. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Fourth Ward, Council member Frank Carcone.
Oh, just the same, my prayers are with the Brooks family, and it was a great loss to the city.
Fifth Ward, Council member Veneser.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say about Chief Brooks. When my son wanted to be a firefighter, him and his friend Alvin Morrison, he really pushed him hard to take the test, and they both passed the test, but then they sat on it, and I really appreciated him because he had, I don't know if you guys remember Dickie Frank, but he had Dickie Frank, who was in a position for the civil service test, driving me crazy, calling my house looking for my son. So I always told him when I saw him I appreciated everything he did in trying to get him into the police department. And so I just want to say well wishes to the family, and I hope everything is okay, and if they need anything from me, call me. Thank you.
Thank you. Sixth Ward, Council member Joe Beatrice.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to reiterate the same thing on Chief Brooks. Chief Brooks has been a big part of my life from St. Peter's School through Notre Dame. Everybody talks about Chief Brooks, everything as far as the firefighters, but he's had put in 43 years of service. He rose from the ranks from a firefighter to the chief. He's did a lot of other stuff. He was instrumental in the fire academy, headed the food bank, spearheaded the Iris Center, and what I'm going to miss most of all, I actually missed it the last year and a half after I knew either Wednesday night or Thursday morning I was getting my phone call, and he was the kind of guy that he wanted to rip you, and he wanted you to fight with him, and the more you fought him, the more he liked it. So I just want to say rest in peace, my friend. I also attended the 150-year fire dinner the other night. It was a wonderful dinner. I was glad to go there. And lastly, I want to give a special congratulations to a lifelong friend of mine, Captain Anthony Zampano. He was a lifelong loyal friend. He was chief, he put 38 years in, and I'll tell you, he's had my back since I was in 3rd grade, so I want to thank you for his service. As far as Mr. Velarde goes, he knows we've talked numerous times on the phone this last week. I agree with him 100%. I drove down Herkimer Road many times. There's no rhyme or reason on any of the way these houses are decorated into this area. I don't know enough about it. I will be reaching out to my colleagues to possibly have a committee system and a committee meeting, and look at this, because it does not make sense. There's houses that are falling apart. This man has a beautiful home. His garage is collapsing, and he's trying to do the right thing, okay? Technically, probably if he didn't tell anybody, like most of those houses on Herkimer Road in the back, he could build a garage and nobody would know. He's trying to do the right thing, and I will be there for him when he goes in front of the historic committee. So that's all I want to say, and I'm going to reach out to you guys, because you know what? Every one of yous have neighborhoods in this section, scenic and historic, which causes a lot of problems for a lot of people. It isn't just those buildings. Like on that sheet, there's 2 houses that are, scenic and historic. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, council member. Council member at large, Mark Williamson.
Well, tomorrow is Normandy's invasion. We did an invasion 80 years ago. And our own mayor, Mayor Palinga, and I was only a teenager when he was the mayor, but he lost his brother on the beaches of Normandy in 1944. So I had to say that. And also with, with the Herkimer Road thing, yeah, there's like 2 or 3 houses on there that need, they're historic. St. Peter's Church, General Weaver's house. I think there's another house down the road farther. All the other houses are just regular, built in the 60s, 70s, raised ranches and everything else. And then for Chief Brooks, he was a Marine, and I spent all my time with the Marine Corps as well. All I can say is Semper Fidelis, which means always faithful. People don't know what that means. Semper Fidelis, Chief Brooks. Thank you.
Thank you. Council member at large, Samantha Collis-Montesta.
Thank you, Mr. President. To touch base really quick on the zoning, just to piggyback on Joe and Mark, a lot of the times that we implement these maps as a legislative body, and sometimes we don't realize that those maps extend over and beyond what the authority of sometimes what we approve. I think that this should be a simple fix for you. I don't even think you need a committee meeting on it. I think it's very simple. Remove that, keep those 2 houses in there, and let the rest of Herkimer Road go back to what they need to be doing in order to maintain and fix their homes. Chief Brooks, it still hasn't hit home for me with him. We sat in these chambers, and Joe said one thing right, and I think he liked you more the more you argued with him. And everybody knows they like to argue, and I think that that's how me and Chief Brooks got so close with one another. It's a terrible loss for the department. Scott, I know you do a wonderful job, and there was a lot of hard times that we had to go through with the chief in those 10 years that I was a council person, and it really got us close and to the understanding of what respect we had for one another. My heart goes out to Mary Ann and his family, and I know that there's probably everybody in this room. Chief Brooks probably came to more council meetings than everybody here combined throughout his tenure as fire chief, and he's definitely missed throughout the room, even after his illness and when he was removed from that position of fire chief. And even till his end, he fought to make sure that he kept his name to the name that it should be, and that ranking of a position that he was in. Even what happened with the previous administration, and even to Rob Palmieri's credit, I will give him that. I appreciate they let bygones be bygones, and they ended up naming Central Fire Station after Chief Brooks. It was proud to see, and he deserves that name recognition. With that said, it is my daughter's 9th birthday. My little Antonella Josephine is 9 years old, and that's all I gotta say is I'm scared for the city of Utica if she ever gets in a position of power, because if you think I'm bad, try dealing with her on a daily basis. But happy birthday, my beautiful daughter, and to many more years of continued success for her. Thank you.
Thank you. A motion to introduce proposed ordinance number 1.
Motion?
Second? Bond ordinance dated June 5th,
Motion to commit,
Yeah.
rather?
2024, authorizing the issues of 22,750,000 serial bonds of the city of Utica, Oneida County, New York, to finance the cost of reconstruction and improvement of the city sewer system. Votes?
And I appreciate Nick and Paul for being here earlier for the discussion. If there's one thing that I can ask, can you just maybe give us a few month updates every now and then to kind of where you are and how things are progressing, and if we have to go to the whole 27 million, if not, you know, where are we, if we're over, just kind of keep us updated on that component of it, that would be appreciated.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Happy to do that.
8 yeas adopted.
A motion to introduce proposed resolution number 1.
Motion?
Can I have a
Thank you.
second?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion on the floor to amend the piece. In order for it to say June 17th, the June 19th meeting of 2024 will be rescheduled to June 17th at 7 PM in the Common Council chambers. Can you also have it reflect that we have a pre-meeting at 6 o'clock and a committee meeting at 5 to discuss the cannabis legislation and an update from the Harbor Point Committee? Thank you.
Announcement of Common Council meeting dates change in observance of Juneteenth. Be it resolved that this observance of Juneteenth, the scheduled Common Council meeting on June 19th, 2024 will be rescheduled June 17th at 7 p.m. in the Common Council chambers. Can I have your votes, please?
Eight yeas adopted.
Can I have a motion to introduce proposed resolution number 3?
Motion?
Second? Yeah, a proclamation recognizing John Frazier, whereas it is the custom of the Common Council for the city of Utica to recognize those who have gone above and beyond in their service to both our city and our country, whereas born June 18, 1924, to Arthur and Rosa Frazier, John answered the call to serve at age 17 when enlisted in the United States Army. During World War II, he would be stationed in Liverpool, England, France, and Germany over the course of 5 years, 9 months, and 23 days before being honorably discharged in November of 1946. Whereas upon returning to the States, he would marry his wife of 78 years, Louise Mackey Frazier, and the two would have 8 children. When asked about the keys to a long, happy life, John states that taking care of family and always moving have served him well. Whereas today you can find John working in his garden, fishing, and spending time with his family and friends that gather around his outdoor man cave. And be it proclaimed that the Common Council for the City of Utica hereby recognizes the above contributions of life of John Frazier and wishes him a happy 100th birthday. Be it further proclaimed, this proclamation will forever be inscribed into the minutes of the City of Utica Common Council meeting on this 5th day of June 2024. Votes, please.
8 yeas adopted.
78 years.
78 years, right? I got 78 minutes left now. I'm just kidding. I'd like to
Motion-
make a motion to put ordinance number 4 in the committee.
Second.
Committee. A motion to introduce proposed resolution number 5. Second. Authorizing sale of beer and wine to Mary Mother of Our Savior Parish. Whereas the sale of alcoholic beverages and possessions of an open container containing alcoholic beverages is prohibited on the Utica City streets, sidewalks, and playgrounds, parks, and the right-of-way by ordinance of the Common Council, except in certain instances when permission is granted. Yep. Mary Mother of Our Savior Parish Annual Bazaar, Thursday, August 29th, 2024, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Friday, August 30th, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday, August 31st, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. Location 2 Barton Ave, Utica. Can I have your votes, please?
8 yeas adopted.
Can I have a motion to introduce proposed resolution number 6?
Thank you.
Thank you. Proclamation recognizing Notre Dame girls varsity basketball team. Whereas the Notre Dame varsity girls basketball team has completed their season, adding yet another trophy to their case. Whereas after going 24-3 in the regular season, 14-0 in the Tri-Valley, the team went on to play Marcellus for the Section 3 Class B championship. Following that victory, they would defeat Shenango, Forks, and Putnam Valley to make their way to the Class B state finals. Whereas led by Ella Trinkus, the team would beat Albany Academy in the championship game, ending the season as state champions. Ella Trinkus was the MVP of the TVL, named first team All-TVL, along with Maggie Trinkus. Sophomore Aaron Trinkus was named second team All-TVL. Coach John Schneider was named TVL Coach of the Year. Ella Trinkus was named Section 3 Tournament MVP, and Aaron Trinkus made the Section 3 All-Tournament team. Be it proclaimed that the Common Council for the City of Utica hereby recognizes the hard work and dedication shown by the entire 2024 Notre Dame varsity girls basketball team and congratulates them on their state championship victory. Be it further proclaimed this proclamation will be ever inscribed into the minutes of the City of Utica Common Council meeting on this 5th day of June 2024. Votes, please.
It doesn't need waiver.
Thank you.
You're welcome. 8 yeas adopted.
Can I have a motion to introduce proposed resolution number 7?
Motion.
Second? Yeah, a resolution approving the granting of a permanent easement to Niagara Mohawk and Verizon at the Utica Zooway. Be it resolved that the mayor is authorized to execute the appropriate grant of easement and other documents necessary for this resolution. Can I have your votes, please?
8 yeas adopted.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to introduce ordinance number 8.
Okay. Second. Thank you.
Okay, ordinance rescinding ordinance number 18 of 2024, section 216-360, scheduled E, no parking at all times, 600 block of Mary Street from Mohawk Street to 3rd Ave. Be it ordained that ordinance number 18 of 2024 to be hereby rescinded and annulled. Votes, please.
Eight yeas adopted.
Can I have a motion to introduce proposed ordinance number 9?
Second.
Second. Alternate 24-hour parking, be it ordained that section 216-377, schedule V, alternate 24-hour parking, be amended to include the following: 600 block of Mary Street from Mohawk Street to 3rd Ave, further ordained that the proper signage be erected. Votes, please.
8 yeas adopted.
Do you have a motion to introduce proposed ordinance number 9?
Which one's that, Rob?
Is it
Or
10?
President Dritzy? Sorry. I thought we just did that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which one's 10?
Proposed resolution number 10.
We're doing the public hearings.
Yeah, call for a
Oh,
public
okay,
hearing
sorry.
on the sale of lot 1014 Taylor Avenue. Second. Call, whereas the Utica Urban Renewal Agency is the owner of 1014 Taylor Avenue, whereas the developer plans to create additional parking for his adjacent property, whereas the purchase price for this property will be $250. Therefore, it be resolved, the Utica Common Council will conduct a public hearing on Monday, June 17th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Votes, please.
8 yeas adopted.
Motion for proposed ordinance number 11 to introduce into committee, put into committee.
Second. Motion.
Yep. Okay, I have a motion to introduce proposed resolution 12. Have a second?
Yep.
Calling for a public hearing on sale of lots 318.74-225 and 318.74-233 Seymour Avenue, 318.74-226, 318.74-227, and 334 Leah Street. whereas the purchase price for this property will be $3,750. Can I have your votes?
8 yeas adopted.
Can I have a motion to put proposed ordinance number 13 in committee?
Second. Thank you.
Yep, come in.
Motion to discharge ordinance.
Yeah, can I have a motion to discharge proposed ordinance 10 and 12?
Second. Is there anything else?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
That you guys want?
Nope. Thank you.
Good night, guys.